Good afternoon, everybody. This is Eric with American Business Systems. Want to welcome you to today's webinar. We have a great pleasure to have today with us Adam Phillips. He's going to be joining us here in just a little bit. We're going to get to interview the CEO of American Business Systems. So those that are going to be joining us this afternoon, I hope that you've got your questions ready because you're going to be able to talk with the guy. Adam will be on here in just a very short moment with us. We got a good crowd coming in already. Got Dan and Elaine and I think James. I saw James there. There you are, James, and Jeff and George and Molly. Good to see everybody. It's good to see you. And we've got this webinar set up today, and this is going to be good. And again, I think in a couple of weeks we're going to be actually interviewing another or someone else, an ABS business owner here. So we're looking forward to doing that as well. And we'll have something for after next Wednesday, which would be after the 4th of July. So hopefully everybody's got some great plans for the weekend and stay safe. And then we'll be back here next Wednesday as well. So if you're planning on taking some time off, go ahead and mark it on your calendar to go ahead and join us next Wednesday. So please put that on your calendar. But today we're going to have Adam on here in just a moment. He's going to talk about how ABS's model is different than anybody else's. We're going to kind of look at some kind of, the whole history of ABS. And so this is going to be a great time for us this afternoon. Very relaxing time, and it'll be really fun to have Adam on here. So some of you already know, go over there to the question and answer box. Just put in the place where you're calling. I like to kind of see where everybody's calling in from. So far, the last, I don't know how long we've been doing this, for about 4 or 5 weeks now. We've been having people, type in where they're located. We've had literally people from coast to coast. So we've got some folks that, are here in the central area, some in the East Coast area, some of the West Coast areas. So it's good to kind of see where everybody's from. Okay, so we've got Jeff is from the Pennsylvania area. Good to have you. Elaine's from the Texas area, right in the heart of Texas, over in the San Antonio area. We've got Andrew is from Georgia. See, we've got folks here from the East Coast that's doing pretty well. We got folks here in Texas, way up over out in Abilene. Hope you guys are staying cool out there. If it's anything like it here is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I think we're supposed to top out about 107 today. So kind of let everybody know where we are here. So thanks for typing in some of that. Hopefully we've got some folks from the West Coast, so if you can type that in, that would be great. Folks, my name is Eric Auger. If this is the first time you've joined us here this afternoon, I welcome you. I appreciate you taking your time to be with us this afternoon. We are going to go right about an hour, so you're going to find out that this is going to be the fastest hour that you'll be a part of this entire week, because when we get started here, we just don't stop. So there we go. We got some folks from the West Coast, Northern Cal, got some folks here in Washington, North Carolina. Hey, like I said, coast to coast here. This is awesome to have everybody here. So thank you for doing that. So for those that have been on the webinar before, I'm going to go through just a brief introduction because some of you are brand new to the webinar today. So let me tell you a little bit about American Business Systems. And you're going to get to hear a whole lot more about ABS here when Adam pops on here. So ABS has been around for really going on 30 years. It's at 29 years and a half officially. We can actually say that because the next time we'll meet, it'll be the last half of the year, man. I'm telling you, this year is going by so quickly. Matter of fact, Adam and I were talking about how quickly time does fly, and here we are fastly approaching 30 years for ABS. But you're going to find out today that really this all started way before 30 years ago. And Adam will share a little bit about that. Folks, as you know, this is a medical billing business opportunity. It is driven by our platform, which is called iClaim and EMRX. Hopefully some of you have had some opportunities to see some demos with your business coach here at American Business Systems. This is driven for us, powered by, if you want to call it, by NextGen. NextGen's been a great partner with American Business Systems for several years, and vice versa. So we've been able to help each other, and we're so glad that they support us here at American Business Systems. But that's not all you're getting. ABS has several different other types of services here. Is we're going to talk through a little bit of them today. Now, we're going to not go into the depths of these. We've got webinars in which we've done that before. So you're going to know about virtual care and audit guard and compliancy guard and quick collect, choice pay, audit guard, auto card, and Dynamax. And so, matter of fact, I was thinking about that this morning. I had some of my teeth cleaned at my dentist office. And matter of fact, I hear them in the background talking about billing, trying to get paid. So there's some opportunities there. Then we've got some other services, credentialing now, adoptables, and I bet you if we can pry Adam a little bit this afternoon, he might give us a little insight on some of the things that he might want to see in the future. Again, the founders of American Business System is Patrick and Linda Phillips. Actually, the real starter was Linda. She was the one that actually started doing billing way long ago. If y'all remember the year of the typewriter, that's how she was doing all of the work that she was doing for a particular doctor when she got started. Adam Phillips is our CEO of American Business Systems, and like I said a minute ago, he is going to join us here in just a short time and help us ask some questions to him and give his overview of where ABS is and where he kind of sees it going in the future. He's actually written several articles for the Billing and Coding Advantage magazine. He's got some books that we're going to talk about this afternoon. He is also the founding founder of MIRMA, and I'll let him talk a little bit more about that. But MIRMA is the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. That is the group in which will certify you as a certified medical revenue manager once you've completed the training. So you will be a certified MIRMA person here, a certified medical revenue manager, and you can tell your doctors that you're part of the largest group in America, networking group of medical billers, and that you were certified by this particular group. Folks, without any further ado, I'm going to ask Adam to join us via video. There he is. Adam, it's good to see you this afternoon.
Hey, Eric. Yeah, thanks for having me on. This is great. I'm glad to be able to spend some time with some folks on the webinar today. We've got a lot of really great information to share. I am doing my best to stay cool here in Dallas. I got my AC on full blast, my fans on full blast. I saw some kind of quote online that said, today specifically, Texas was going to be hotter than 99% of the world or something.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, just all kinds of crazy records were setting with heat. But anyway, I hope everybody's doing well, staying cool. So we're ready to get into this.
Absolutely. You know, Adam, obviously you've been running the company here for quite some time, and whether it's in the role of the president or now CEO of the company, and obviously you started way in the very, very beginning. I thought maybe that's just kind of where we would start, is kind of in the beginning of American Business Systems and how it all kind of started. So why don't you just kind of take us through a little history of the Phillips family to where ABS kind of got started here.
Yeah, sure. And I love that you picked a typewriter for that image there.
Yes.
A little foreshadowing there. Yeah. So as Eric kind of mentioned a little bit in the beginning here, we've been doing this for a long time. So in the 80s, my mother, she's a very good typist. She can type, 90 words a minute or something crazy like that, really fast. And so she started doing some transcription work for some doctors and some other industries as well. And my parents actually ended up meeting and befriending a couple that owned a durable medical equipment company. They sell, hospital beds, canes, walkers, oxygen tanks, that sort of thing. And he was really struggling because they were dealing with Medicare. And he asked my mother one day, hey, have you ever done, medical billing, medical claims? And she said, no, I never have. But I mean, if you show me how to do it, I'm a good typist, I could probably do it. So he taught her how to do that. And that was their very first billing client. And so she actually started out in the very beginning using a typewriter and typing these, what they call two-part claim forms, where the typewriter, smashes onto the two-part form, and then you pull it apart, and then there's two copies of it. Very, very painful process looking back on it compared to how it is now. You'd have to use this stuff called whiteout, and we'll blank out some of the stuff if you mess up, and of course there's all kinds of room for getting it wrong, and then the insurance company sends it back, and it's it's a whole big thing. But anyway, so she was helping him do that, and they started eventually signing up a few other medical billing clients from there. And then they got to the point where they actually were able to make a pretty decent living, and they started upgrading their house and they upgraded their cars, and they actually started having friends and family going, "What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing here? How are you guys making all this money?" And so my dad, kind of being the marketing genius that he was, well, I'll talk about that here in a minute. He decided, you know what? I can put together a package that has software and training and support, and I can help people start their own billing business and kind of like show them how to avoid, the marketing mistakes that we made in trying to do this. And so that's when in 1994, he formed American Business Systems. But these pictures that you see here, this is way back when, as you can see, early 70s, I think. So my dad has tried all kinds of different lines of work. He's always really been in kind of a sales or marketing capacity. So he's done a lot of study on marketing and sales. He's been doing it for a long time. He's actually written books on the subject now. But he's also been a serial entrepreneur, what he likes to say. So some of you on this webinar, you may resonate with that. You may have tried other businesses in the past. Maybe they did well, maybe they didn't, who knows. But really the first one that stuck for him was ABS. His first business that actually started making some really, really nice income was the medical billing service. So that's what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah. And then you I think this is about the time that your mom actually started doing the billing. And so this is the little guy in the middle where it says a license to lounge there.
Yep. Little chubby kid in the middle. That's me. That's my sister.
That's you.
Yep. That's my sister, Sarah, a little blonde headed. She's actually married with her own family now as well. But I think this is one of the first real vacations we actually took. I believe this was Universal Studios, if I'm not mistaken. And that was mind blowing to me. I mean, we grew up on coupons, and I remember going to Schlotsky's, a sandwich place, for my birthday, and thinking that was just amazing. So for us to be able to go there, using some of the funds made from the billing company, really, really cool.
And so really what this picture shows is that you've grown into this your entire life. This is all that you've kind of this is all you've ever known.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I've got the memories of my mom using that typewriter to do those claim forms. So I've always kind of been involved, been around in some form or fashion. I did take a little detour where I thought I was going to be a Christian rock star for a little while there, but I eventually realized, I'm married now and I need to actually make money. So so that was about 16, 17 years ago. I did a few other things. I was in the mortgage industry for a little while. And then one day Dad calls me up and says, "Hey, I'm trying to expand ABS and grow this thing. And can you help me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can work from home and, make my own hours. Yeah, that sounds awesome." So I've been helping out with ABS for a long, long time. And then let's see, I got promoted. I don't remember how long ago it was, 4, 5, 6 years ago. I took over as CEO. So he finally said, "You know what? I'm ready to semi-retire now." Semi-retire.
That's right.
The poor guy doesn't have any hobbies whatsoever. His hobby is work. So he's very, very involved in the company as much as he can be. He continues, popping on webinars with you.
Yes, he does.
Writing books and doing all kinds of things behind the scenes. He just makes me do all the hard work now. So
exactly, yeah. And you're doing a great job. I think it's awesome. And I tell you, it's been fun because I mentioned to Adam that I've been associated with ABS for 16 years now, and so man, it's just been part of my life. And the Phillips family has just welcomed me in, and everybody that works here at ABS is really all family. So it's just, we've kind of, because even whenever you were in the Christian rock band, one of your cohorts were there was Jason. And so Jason's part of you, and you guys have just been together mainly almost all your life too as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Our VP of sales is my best friend. We grew up together, and so now he also realized that he needed to actually make some money because he's got a family as well. So it's been going really well, and the company's been growing, and we've just been able to set up successful business owners all over the country and really help a lot of people change their lives. It's been really cool.
So let's talk about where ABS is today. You know, now you're kind of driving the ship now. You've done a lot of great work. You and Jason and some other folks, excuse me, have done a lot of great work in revamping websites and posting stuff on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And so you and the rest of the crew, you've actually taken this to a completely different level than obviously when your dad was kind of running the show there. I think one of the first things I remember we were kind of doing cutting edge was doing these webinars, but you kind of taken it further than that with, again, the website and getting the word out there. And so kind of tell us just where you see it today. You know, what's the best of the best of ABS? Because obviously, you know, how is ABS model different than anything else that's out there?
Yeah. So, you know, my goal is to continue to enhance, you know, everything that we're doing on the front end as well as the back end for our business owners. So, you know, obviously we've spent a lot of time and money developing our upfront marketing, you know, methods and our marketing image and our brand image with all this new the new website that we launched a few years ago. We've got a lot of different things in on different websites like franchise websites and things. And, you know, the fact that you all are here on this webinar with us today is proof that we're doing something right to get people to attend these things.
Sure.
People want to learn. People love to learn. People love to learn about, you know, what's going on without having to make any kind of commitment or anything on these webinars. So they do appreciate that. But not only that, but on the back end, I'm really have been paying a lot of attention to the needs in the market. And so what's really cool is we actually have some of our top support personnel that's on our support team. They are actually ABS business owners themselves, and they have built their business to the point where they have a team of billers that are actually doing all of the work for them. And they really have the mindset of paying it forward. So what they're doing is they're spending most of their time now supporting our business owners and helping people launch their business, get their billing business off the ground and help them, you know, because in the beginning, it is a struggle. It's a grind, you know, to get your name out there, to get your first couple of clients locked down. But with our team helping you, everybody has been there, done that, you know, so our team is like, they're helping put together killer proposals for people, you know, helping them with their agreements. We do the software demos for their clients. So we're doing all kinds of stuff to kind of handhold them through the whole process of onboarding new clients. And then we actually do a lot more beyond, you know, just the signing of the contract. We're still very heavily involved, but we can kind of get into that more. But yeah, recently, within the past couple of years, I have made several new alliances with some really, really cool technology companies. And we'll get into that a little bit. We actually have a research guide we'll tell you about that you can go and download and read about all these services that we've launched. But they're really, really cool stuff that just really is going to set you apart as an owner of it's not even a medical billing company. It's really more what we call a revenue cycle management company or consulting firm. So we show you very specifically how to position yourself to stand out from all the other people out there that are trying to do medical billing, because you're going to be able to do and offer so much more than that we'll talk about here in a minute.
You bet. Now let's talk real quickly. I'm going to put this slide up here because it may be a little hard for people to see, but and I'll even pop over here to this one. But let's talk about the investment. Let's talk about and again, so there's some new people here today. What's the difference between what ABS is and franchises?
Good question. So yeah, some of you on this webinar might be thinking, wait a second, I went to Franchise Gator and you're saying you're not a franchise. We have the same exact training and ongoing support and marketing assistance that a franchise would. We just don't have the negatives of a franchise. So we don't have any royalty fees paid back to us. We don't have any restrictive territories. And that actually works really well in this industry because doctors are pretty big on referrals. You know, they understand when they find a company that is working well for them, especially when it comes to billing, they're gonna spread the word. They're gonna refer their colleagues to you. And as a business owner, you are able to sign up doctors in any part of the United States. There are no restrictions at all. And we have a cloud-based platform. So it's very easy to do business with doctors out of state, down the road or out of state or wherever. In fact, some of our business owners, the majority of their entire client base is not even in their own state, just because of different referrals that they started getting. I mean, it usually, they don't start marketing out of state. Usually they start locally. And so what usually happens is you'll sign up your first couple of clients in your neighborhood, but then that's how it starts to spread kind of organically from referrals, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And then, I mean, obviously, I think I mentioned to you earlier, I think every week I get this question, but tell us what the investment is, and is there an ongoing fee that kind of goes along with the whole ABS package?
Okay. So if you can see that page right there that says an all-inclusive investment of $28,990. Okay, so that is a one-time all-inclusive investment. And when that says all-inclusive, that truly means that's all that you're paying for the business. So you pay that up front before you start the training. And we actually don't do any financing, but we have some financing partners that we'll talk about at the end here. But that does have to be paid in full before you start. On the back end, once you get things going, you start signing up clients, all that, there are no royalty fees that you pay back to us. There are no ongoing support fees, and we actually support you for life. Like, your support never expires. And there's not a lot of companies offering something like
right.
that. And your next question should be, well, how the heck are you guys making money on the back end? We actually do. So we have about a dozen different services that you'll read about in our research guide, and we'll talk a little bit about those. But we have relationships with these technology partners where every doctor that we help you sign up and put onto some of these platforms and services that we have, we get a small residual back. There they are right there. We get a small residual back from some of these technology partners for you doing that. So we do have a vested interest in your success, and we want you signing up as many clients as you can handle because of that. So it's very much a win-win-win situation for everybody, the way that we do it. So it's a pretty cool model. We're very motivated to help you with all the marketing steps that we'll talk about.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. Now, Shalu is asking, does this include the dental billing?
Good question, Shalu. So we just recently launched a partnership with a company called Dentamax. And so they are our sole partner for providing dental billing and dental medical records. So yes, that is included. Now, how it works with some of these software systems is there's a small, well, let me back up. So all of our partners that we have for all these services that you see, what they've done is they have agreed, first of all, they've agreed to let us white label their products. So all of these white labeled brand names are unique to American Business Systems. And the other thing that's very important is they've reduced their retail pricing for our licensees so that they can mark it up and make money on all the services. And the only service where you're doing the work, by the way, is the iClaim or the Dentamax billing software. All these other services that you see, the work is actually performed by one of our partners. So that's how we do it. So there's a small software fee that you build into your invoice to the doctors. So you're charging the doctor, let's say 6 to 9% for doing the billing work, and built into that is the software fee. So the doctors are the ones that are paying the software fee to the software partner. Hopefully that made sense.
It certainly does. Now I'm going to go flip back over here. I think it's over here at this package. So we get the $28,990. That includes everything that we just saw. It's got the comprehensive package, everything you need to get started. And it also includes, like you said, the software and the marketing pieces. Mm-hmm. And so you're saying that even the marketing pieces, you got over 2,000 pieces of customized marketing. Why don't you kind of talk a little bit about that right now? I'll put that up here right now.
Yeah, sure. And I see Afua raised their hand. If you have a question, you can just type it into that Q&A box. Yeah. So go ahead and do that. And so what we do is in your business package that you get when you pay that initial fee, you get a big box full of stuff. And so you can see all of our services have flyers related to them. There's also books that we've written for you that we'll talk about. But what we do is we give you a starter pack in the beginning that you can use right away that doesn't have your name and logo on there. And then what happens is when you finish our training, we help you set up your company. You get your website, your domain name, and then you're going to pick you come up with your name and logo and all that good stuff. And whenever you have that done, you're able to actually order these flyers to be customized. And so we actually take your name and logo and contact information and actually physically print it on all of these printed flyers, and we ship them straight to your doorstep. And so you'll have all these really nice custom flyers, and these are really high quality paper. You get some really high quality presentation folders that come with your package as well, that you can put some of these flyers in with your business card and all kinds of cool stuff. So it really, if you look at the cost to put this stuff together, you'd spend $28,990 or more on your own.
Yeah.
Up with these marketing.
Just on the copy alone, just all the text that's on all of these and getting all that taken care of.
Exactly.
Afua, I hope I said your name correctly, is asking, so Adam, with the great stuff here, how does ABS aid me in getting client acquisitions?
Excellent question. Now, do you have some slides specific to that? I don't remember.
I don't think I do, but what I can do is put up, let me see what I've got here. I've got some information here on, let's just start it right here. It starts with training a little bit. We can start with that and then go into you've already talked a little bit about support, but obviously I've done a lot of, how ABS helps you with your marketing and all that. So we can just kind of talk through this.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get into the client getting part. So Afua, as you're probably aware, doctors are not going to want to work with somebody that they don't know, like, and trust. They're very particular about who they work with. Okay. So the key is, how do I get into this industry being brand new, not knowing what I'm doing? And how do I gain the trust with the doctor so that they want to work with me? That's the question. And so we have developed several different techniques and methods and materials for you to use to set yourself apart from what everyone else out there is doing. Okay. So for starters, we do not teach you to go cold call and knock on doors. That's at the very bottom of the list, because everybody and his brother's doing that. Okay?
Right.
What we do is we teach you how to focus and spend your valuable time more on getting referrals through strategic partnerships and networking, business networking. And so in other words, we have resources where we can show you how to join different business networking groups, general industry related and healthcare related groups. We also have had a lot of success partnering up with medical device salespeople and pharma reps, so we can show you how to make those connections. But you're not going to these events looking for doctors at all. You're going to these events looking for people who can refer you to a doctor that are in other industries. So we're talking about realtors, CPAs, attorneys, financial planners, IT companies. Those are just the ones off the top of my head, but there's a ton of industries that work with doctors, but they don't do what you can do. And so those are the people that you want to meet up with. And really all you have to do is get a name and a phone number, and then our team becomes very heavily involved in the whole marketing process. Okay. So you want me to just walk through those steps, Eric?
Yeah. Just go ahead. Okay. Go right through it.
So there's just a handful of steps that we take you every step of the way through. We handhold you through this. Okay. So the first step is to offer a free consultation with a doctor and say, hey, I've got this revenue cycle management company. I'm the owner. I'd like to sit down and do an analysis of your practice and figure out if we might be able to help you in different ways to save money. And so we teach you how to do this practice analysis. It's basically just, like 25 something questions that we have printed off that we teach you how to, just read the questions. It's usually done with the office manager. And that's an information gathering, step one. So step two is you're going to tell them, now I'm going to put together a revenue report and I'm going to bring it back and show you next week. And also at the same time, I am going to set up a demo of our platforms. And so that's another thing that ABS does for you. We do a full demo of all the software platforms that we have. We show them to the doctors, answer all their technical questions. they don't have to use them, but we want to show them the platforms. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so when that demo is done, we have helped you put together your revenue report that I just mentioned and your proposal. So at the end of that demo, you can hand to the doctor and say, okay, based on our initial visit, the information that you provided to me, I've identified some trouble spots here. Here's my revenue report that shows how much money you're spending now and how much you could potentially save and earn with me, with some of my services. And here's my proposal. So we help you figure out what services to offer that doctor. We help you figure out how to price yourself. We're going to make recommendations on, well, we think you should come in at, 6% or 7% or whatever the case may be. We're going to make sure that it's attractive to the doctor, but not leaving any money on the table at the same time. Okay. Once that's done, we have also helped you put together your agreement, your final agreement that the doctor will sign with your company. So that was a long-winded explanation.
That's good.
We're there with you every step of the way to get them to sign with you, and even beyond them signing, we also do the training and implementation for the software. We handle any data migrations, software integrations. We can be a technical help desk for the doctors, so you don't have to be tech support. So we're doing a whole lot on the back end as well. So very, very valuable.
Yeah, and that's why I just kind of left this whole up here about the support, because it really does take you from following that what's called the Jumpstart marketing plan to get their first client within the first 30 to 90 days. And you got your entire lifetime of support here, and then you got this entire website that's secured for our business owners to get into, which is the licensee support site. And the agreements that Adam was talking about, all the pricing, you'll go through all that with real live people on that. But a lot of your documents that you've got are going to be held out over here. And Adam, if there's ever any changes, they're going to have the latest and greatest information here on the support site.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that a ton of franchises don't even have at all.
Yeah.
It's a private intranet is what they used to call it. I don't know if they still call it that. It literally, you get a login to this private website that we have. And we've been adding stuff in here for so long. I mean, there is hundreds of hours, videos and continuing education and resources, and every single training video on every single service, every single training video on every single marketing method that we teach you. So you can always go back and refresh and learn. And it's just a really, really great resource that you can access 24/7. You get a lifetime login to that, it never expires.
Yeah, exactly. Now you mentioned earlier about some books, and I'm going to share one of the books that you're talking about. This is one of the ones that you co-wrote with Dr. Vicki Ragnar. So now some of those that were on the webinar week before last, that I interviewed Dr. Ragnar. So tell us a little bit about her, how she and why she is co-writing some of these books with you, and one I think with your dad, and kind of how she kind of helps out our business owners sometimes get their first doctor as well.
Yeah, so we partnered up with Dr. Vicki several years ago. She is a retired surgeon. She was running her own practice for many, many years. She actually found great success in outsourcing her billing as well after she had an in-house person that was actually stealing money from her. So she fired that person and hired an outsourced billing company and found great success with that. But she now is, in the speaking circuit. She's just traveling all over the country, speaking to doctors and financial planners, and also coaching our business owners as well on how to market to doctors. I mean, she is a doctor, so she knows what works and what doesn't work. And so she's written several books throughout the years. She's a very prolific author. But I partnered up with her to write this new book that came out a couple of years ago, 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers. And it's just 9 simple things that doctors can do to help improve their revenue, all kinds of different ideas on, how to save money on taxes and all kinds of other stuff in there. And what, we give you some of these books when you become a licensee, so you can use this as a marketing tool. I mean, what better way to market than just, hey, here's some free education. I'm not looking to do business. I mean, of course you'd like to, but here's some free education without any expectation of anything in return. And doctors love to be educated. They love to
Yes.
learn. They do not like to be sold. They don't like people walking in their office trying to sell them medical billing, but they love someone handing them a book about how to improve their revenue and income without having to do much. Just read a book and you get to save some money. So
And not to give away the farm here, but in our training class, we're going to teach you how to take these books, and whether you go knock on a door and go hand deliver this, because usually it won't get to the doctor, but we've got a strategic way that even Dr. Rackner talks this so creative of making sure that doctor actually gets that book. It bypasses all the gatekeepers and everything, and that's what you're going to want to do. And I remember even during that time of COVID where nobody was seeing any doctors, we still had business owners still getting doctors signed up during that time. And a lot of it was through the books that you're talking about here, the 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers. And then kind of like the gold standard whenever it comes to information is the New Thriving Medical Practice that Dr. Rackner and your dad wrote and co-wrote it together. But this is very unique because it really gets the new business owner out in front and they're actually on the cover. You want to kind of talk through that?
Yeah, remember earlier when I said positioning, we help you position yourself?
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is. So this is another book that was written by my father and Vicki Rackner. They partnered up to write this one. And it's designed to help doctors thrive in their private practice instead of struggle. And so it's kind of similar to that other book, but it's different. So it does talk a little bit more about billing related things. But what we have done here is we have come up with a way to customize these books for our owners. And what we do is we actually will take your name and print it on the book as the author of the foreword of the book. See the little arrow shaking there? You can't really read it, it's kind of fuzzy, but we have this foreword, this really nice foreword that's already written. You can write a different one if you want to, but this one is perfect, trust me. We've tested it. And so your name is on the front cover, your name is on the inside of the front cover, and it's at the end of the foreword there. So what does that do? That is a massive credibility builder for you. I mean, we've had licensees that have said, doctors thought that I wrote this book, guys. I don't know what's going on here, but they congratulated me on giving them the book that I wrote. And I had to tell them, no, I just wrote the foreword. It was written by some other people. But we have had many licensees have signed up clients by giving doctors this book.
Absolutely. It's ingenious what's happening. And really, kind of what we're saying here is, how is the ABS model different than anybody? Obviously, every market has their own competitors, and any of our competitors, the marketing, we blow them and put them in the smoke. They're in the rearview mirror because of stuff like this. And so nobody has anything like this. And these aren't ebooks either.
Nope.
Let's make sure that we say that. These are real, actual books that can be hand delivered or mailed or whatever you end up getting to the doctor. These are physical books that are going out. And there's much more marketing techniques that are being taught during that training. Last week, I did go through, if some of you might recall, pretty in-depth what you learned in your training. And so some people might want to know, okay, how did I miss that? Just go back and watch it again, and then that'll be good. Jeff's got a question up here, Adam, about what about doctors who work around the world, but they use the American billing system? I guess then it's just ... there. You want to kind of talk about, can it only work in the United States, or can the platform be used in other areas of the world?
So the platform was built specifically for doctors on the U.S. healthcare system. So they have to be U.S. doctors, and they have to be based in the U.S. or U.S. territory. But as far as doing the work, it's truly cloud-based and runs on any computer with internet. So you can be anywhere in the world with internet and access the system and do the work. So hopefully that answers that.
Yeah. This looks more like a comment. I'm going to put your picture back over here and kind of read this. Jim says, more of a comment versus question. Love the story, love the model, I led a similar independent contractor model in a different industry for 15 years. We grew to 3 billion. The greatest satisfaction was supporting the business owners in their journey and success. There was no ceiling on how big they could strive for. That is one of the keys to success. Great training and support is essential. ABS seemingly has all that and more. The business model is even better than most that are out there. I am helping my son get started with ABS, and I'm excited to see him achieve the success I know he will have with ABS support.
That's awesome. Love
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah, love that story, Jim. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing Jim and his son come through the training soon.
Yeah, you bet. I'm trying to think of any other major questions that I can think of. But folks, if you want to type in some of your questions, we didn't have a lot of slides today simply because I wanted you to kind of have this conversation with Adam. I mean, he's usually during this time of the day, he's talking with other folks and that are not on the webinar or doing a demo, because you do a lot of demos. Why don't you kind of talk to people how, if they've never seen the iClaim and EMRX system, how can they get their own personal demo without, investing just yet? How does that go? How does that work?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. I mean, just get back with the rep that invited you. It's going to be either me, Adam, or Jason, or Devin, or Nevin. Those are our 4 sales reps. Just get back with your rep and say, hey, I'd like to see a demo of the system, and we can set that up. And it's usually about an hour long. It's done over Zoom, and it's a live guided tour of the system. And we show you all the different platforms that different people interact with. So we show you the billing practice management platform that the front office uses and you use for billing. We show you the medical record system that the doctors use, the patient portal, everything, all the bells and whistles. And there's several patented features in this system that are really helping the doctors just skyrocket their revenue. It's really cool. Yeah.
That's really awesome. I know, and again, we didn't have a lot there on the slides today of talking about all the marketing stuff that's available there. But let's see, we've got another one here. What is typically the maximum amount of clients a person can handle? What is an average amount of income possible? There you go.
Great question, Dan. So to break it down, our licensees tell us they can process one medical claim in about 2 minutes once they get the hang of it. It's not much. And so, based on the fact that a family practice, a single doctor, they see about 30 patients a day, roughly. So you're looking at about an hour, maybe an hour and a half of work per day for that one doctor. So one person, could effectively handle maybe 6, 7 doctors, somewhere around there. Of course, there's a lot of different variables, level of complexity and all that, but just in general, maybe 6 clients, something like that. And then what's cool is it's very easy to hire other people to help you out and do the work. A lot of people hire friends and family to help them out. You don't have to be any kind of level of certification or anything to do it. And we have all of the training materials to help launch new employees whenever you get to that point. So we have training materials on our support site for data entry people, for sales reps. Everything is already, all the documentation and training is already ready for you to provide to new hires whenever you get to that point. So average income, just generally speaking, you're going to be in the range of around 5 to 9% of a doctor's total income. All the money that you help them collect from insurance and from patients, by the way, you get a percentage of that. So 6 to 9% is the typical range. So one family practice doctor, you'd be looking at maybe 25 to 30,000 in annual gross revenue for about an hour of work a day. Not bad. Yeah,
not bad at all.
Oh, by the way, to add on to that, we do have income calculators on our website. So if you guys go to absystems.com, scroll all the way to the very bottom, you'll see a little link for income calculator. There's a screenshot of it right there. So you can click on that and play around with the numbers. You can put in, well, if I want to make X amount of dollars per year, how many doctors do I need? You can put all that stuff in there. So that might help.
Yeah, and kind of just to be on the tail end of that, if you do see an average family practice, remember they're going to see anywhere from 20 to 25, maybe 30 patients a day. I always kind of like to split it up between 15 in the morning, 15 in the afternoon, and that's usually pretty much what you're gonna find there. And then if you when you go to that calculator, so put in any, however many patients you think that doctor may see in a day, and then the average claim reimbursement. There's always a charge, and then really what the insurance is reimbursed. So really about the average when somebody goes to sees a doctor now, it's going to be anywhere from 100 to 150 bucks, depending upon what they did for you as a procedure. So that's where you're going to kind of make sure that you put those numbers in there. And I've showed that in the past in some of the webinars. We may do it in the future again here shortly, but that'll help you kind of calculate and do some projections there on your own. So that's pretty cool. Adam, we've got about 15 minutes left here, and I wanted to kind of take this last few minutes here with you and ask you this next question here, because funny, I got a question, I think it was last webinar. What happens if AI takes over? So I thought, I don't think I've ever thought about that, but where do you see ABS now and in the future?
Well, I got to talk about AI now since you brought it up.
Okay, please do.
Yeah. So, I've been seeing AI is everywhere now. It's in every app. It's on every browser. It's on every app that I've got has got AI in it now. So it's kind of like, okay, enough's enough. But I mean, it seems like it's probably not going away. It's here. So how do we manage that? Well, for starters, we have partnerships with some companies like Docficate that have AI built into some of their technologies, and it's simply there to assist the humans in making faster decisions and getting things done more efficiently, the way that we see it. So we have a partnership with a company called Docficate, and they have a platform that helps manage appeals, which is like if you have a claim that is denied by the insurance company, sometimes you need to write this big appeal, and it's kind of a process that just is time consuming. Well, they have made it this platform to where you can click a couple of buttons and it creates the appeal and sends it for you, and it's AI that's doing it. Really, really cool. But there's still a human that needs to be involved in checking that out and making sure everything is the way that it should be. AI is not perfect at all.
Right.
It might start getting more perfect, but it's definitely not perfect. I mean, have you ever messed with those AI image generators?
Yeah.
If you tell them to do anything with like humans in it, they look weird. They look like freaks, So we're not quite there yet. But
not there yet.
When it comes to this industry, medical billing and coding and things like that, it's very nuanced, and I don't see it being fully automated without a human checking something out at some point. And the same question was going back to way back when Obamacare first came out, and everybody was just terrified that we were going to go just one single payer system. We're all going to be out of a job. No, we're not,
right.
Because doctors are always going to need to get paid for the work that they're doing, even whether it's one payer or hundreds of insurance companies. The doctor is still going to do work on a patient, and they're going to have to fill out some kind of form and send it in to get paid on it. That's
right.
what Medicare is, So we weren't worried about that either, and here we are, still growing like crazy, even though Obamacare, came around, and we're doing fine. So as far as the future of American business systems, we want to just keep on keeping on, man. We want to keep the private practices thriving. And we have been able to turn practices around that were on the brink of closure. Many times, where we have been able to come in and turn their revenues around where they did not have to close their doors. And that's what we want. We want to see the private practice thrive. We want to see doctors thrive. There's a huge shift where doctors are starting to leave all the hospital jobs that they took and go back into private practice because
right.
They don't like being treated like employees. They don't like their
right.
hours and wages dictated to them. So we're seeing a big shift back into private practice, and that's awesome, for our owners, of course. And we want to continue providing the best tools and services and resources to our owners so that they can stand apart from all the other people out there that's just offering a billing service. You know, you will have 12 or so different ancillary services that you can offer, where you might be able to get your foot in the door with some of these ancillary services and not get the billing account from the doctor right away, but you've already got your foot in the door with some of these other services like HIPAA compliancy and, you know, all kinds of stuff that you can read about in our research guide. So you can get your foot in the door, gain the trust with the doctors, and then at some point, you know, they might have their biller quit and they're like, oh my gosh, what do we do? Oh yeah, I remember, you know, such and such is, you know, they offered me this other service and they do billing. Let's give them a call, you know. So that it sometimes happens in a backwards kind of way. You know, you get the billing account that way. So that, you know, I wrote this down because I wanted to make sure and get it right. You know, we want to just continue helping folks achieve their dreams of owning their own business. I mean, that's what gets us up in the morning is getting the emails and the testimonials from people that say, I am making 3 or 4 times what I was making at my job. You guys have changed my life. So
absolutely,
that's why we do this.
Yeah, absolutely. That's perfect. I appreciate you saying that. Jim looks like he put up another question up over here, and I'll let you kind of answer that one. He says the reality is some doctors will not or may not want to switch their EMR system. Maybe they just migrated to a new platform or just like the one they have and don't want to go through the pain of switching. However, they can be sold on switching to a third-party biller or changing partners. How would that work?
Yeah, I saw that question come in, and that is a great question, Jim. So you need to keep in mind here that what we teach, how we train you is you're not in software sales. And that's the good news. You know, you're not trying to twist their arm into using something that they don't want to, or, you know, a lot of times we find that they're just locked into some other software contract and they can't get out of it or don't want to spend a bunch of money to break that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, some doctors will just straight up say, I don't want to learn a new EHR. I don't want to learn a new medical record system. Can we still do business? And the answer is absolutely yes.
Yeah.
So there's several different options. We have been able to integrate our iClaim platform into most of the competing EHR systems. So there would be integrations possible. Even if they're not possible, we can still show you how to get the proper billing information out of their current system and then manually type it into our system, which, you know, takes a little bit more time, not a whole lot, but, you know, you can always raise your rates if you're going to be, you know, doing a little bit more work for that particular doctor. So there's a lot of different ways to get the business, and, you know, you don't have to get them to switch to anything. We actually have owners that have just said, you know what, I'll just use whatever system you're using. I'll log in and do it, and I'll be able to do a better job than you're doing right now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways to get the business, but that was a good question.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to us about the 30-day money-back guarantee.
Pretty simple. You know, we can't guarantee that you're going to get a client in any certain amount of days. I mean, that's illegal. We can't do that.
Right.
We can just share with you averages, share with you case studies and all the testimonials you can see on our YouTube page. It takes people different amounts of time. But what this does is this basically gives you a way to completely evaluate our entire training that we do for you, the initial training. So the initial training is 10 90-minute modules, and everyone can finish that within 30 days. And so what you do is you're able to go through the entire training that we have, all the material, see all the good, the bad, and the ugly about this business. And at the end of it, you say, yeah, you know what, this is right for me. Or, you know what, this is not what I thought it was. It's not for me. And you can ask for your money back. We'll give you 100% of your money back. But pretty much every single time that someone goes through training, when they get to the end, they're blown away by how much opportunity there is that they didn't even realize. So, I mean, that's how much we believe in the quality of the training, is we're putting our money where our mouth is.
Yeah. And you've been doing this for a long time. So this is nothing new. So this has been kind of a steady thing. You've been mentioning about this research guide. So if you can hang on, let's just kind of walk through these next steps together. You mentioned this. How do they get this big old packet of this research guide?
We have a link that we can send to you where you can just click on it and you can view it on your computer, or you can kill a tree and print it out if you want to. It's 65 pages or something. So it goes into the whole business model, you know, the story of how we got started. But it talks about all the different services that you can offer, what kind of income potential is there for those services, all the materials that you get. There's a little section on some potential operational costs that you might have, which are very, very minimal, by the way. So all that, detailed information is in that.
That's all in there. So ask for this link. I have to share this little story before we even talk about the YouTube channel, but I remember getting started with you guys and your dad, 16 years ago. And obviously Facebook, I think, was kind of getting started, some social media stuff. We really weren't doing much, but what your dad was doing, I think he pioneered a lot of what we're doing, even what we're doing today, are these webinars. And we have captured every single webinar for I don't know how many years of doing this, but they're all out there archived out there on the youtube.com/YABS. But you also have it in, I think it's absystems.com/blog, I think is where they can see some of the newest ones too.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah. So there's tons of information out there and other interviews that we've done. Talk to us about talking with other business owners.
Yeah, I mean, part of your due diligence, in this, it should definitely be to talk to some owners out there that are actually out there in the trenches doing it. And these are all real pictures of real owners that are all over the country. So we have a list of people that have volunteered to speak with people that are exploring the opportunity, like most of you on here are. Yeah. So that would be one of the steps of your due diligence, is to ask for a reference list and make some phone calls and chat with some owners about the business and see what they think. I
remember doing some webinars and some of these names popped up there and they were over in our attendees list. Now they're over here
and they're not all heavy hitters. We don't put all of our billionaires on there. There's people that have 2 or 3 clients and they're happy with that. There's people that have hundreds of clients and they're happy with that. Data entry people, the whole 9 yards, and everybody in between. So
yeah, we already mentioned about the demo. And so this is going to be, if you're thinking about this is a great way to think about, Adam mentioned briefly about whenever you've got a potential client, we're going to do the demo for you. This is basically without your potential doctor. So this is just you and ABS here kind of going through this. But what you're going to view there is going to be very similar to what we'll do whenever we've got your potential doctor on there, except we'll be answering the questions of the doctor instead of from you this time around. So this is really important part of due diligence. I can't think of anything better than obviously calling some of those folks there, but doing these demos.
Yeah, it's just really cool to get a visual grasp of what is my day-to-day going to look like with this thing. And that's what demos do, help show you that.
And the purchase agreement, that you send that out in a link as well, don't you?
That's right. We have an e-sign agreement now, electronic. If you want to see a copy of that, we can send that to you as well. It's pretty simple. It's like a 5-page, I think we're up to 5 pages now.
5 pages now?
It's nothing like a franchise agreement at all. Those are like 200 or 300 pages long.
Yeah.
You're simply signing a training and support program agreement with us. And so you have complete flexibility on how you want to run your business, complete autonomy, but you've got a company like us and a whole support team behind you, helping you every step of the way but you're truly an independent business owner running your own business. Yeah.
And then funding, you mentioned earlier, because there's always some people who might need a little bit of help with funding.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume all they need to do is contact you, one of the other business coaches here at ABS, kind of figure out funding. But, we've been very creative over the years of trying to help people find funding and then get that agreement signed in, put in.
Yeah, so we have a partner that we work with, a funding partner. They do have some loan products. If you have spotless credit, you can talk with them. If you have any dings on your credit, you cannot talk with them. I mean, literally your credit has to be like over 700, 720, something like that. But if that's your story and you have good credit, then yeah, we can put you in touch with them and they might be able to do something for you. But a lot of people, they have some of it saved up. They put some of it on credit cards. They borrow from friends or family. They do whatever they got to do to put the funds together to make it work. You gotta spend a little money to make money these days,
Yeah. And then get started with your training. You said that training is 10 modules, less than about
10 90-minute modules. Yeah. And usually from the moment we get your agreement and your funding, we can have your first training session booked within that week. It can start very, very quickly, usually. Yeah. And that'll take you 2 or 3 weeks maybe to complete.
Yeah, absolutely. And
we also do after hours and weekends, by the way, on the training.
That's awesome. Yeah. So call us here at 866-565-8413. If you don't know who your rep here is, you can give them a quick shout. Adam, I'm going to put your picture back up over here, kind of give a closing word to the group here today. Obviously, it's great to have you on here. I know that you're really busy. You when you can, you help us do some of these webinars, but it's great to have the CEO of the company on here. So just kind of give some parting words here for the folks that are on here today.
Sure. Well, yeah, I mean, we were just happy to have everybody on here today, and everybody taking time out of their busy schedules. I know everybody's busy, not just me. So thank you all for being on here. Really appreciate your time. Lots of good questions. And if anybody on here would like to speak to me directly, you can ask your rep for my phone number. I'll be happy to chat with you, answer any questions about the business. No problem at all. Just let me know. I'm an open book.
Absolutely. All right. So here's the number. We'll leave that up here just for a few seconds. Folks, I know that we're going into the kind of a long weekend, maybe for some of you. The 4th of July is next Tuesday, so everybody stay safe. Enjoy the weekend with your family. We will have another webinar here next Wednesday, so you're not going to want to miss that. So, Adam, thanks so much for joining me this afternoon.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Eric. Have a good weekend. Have a good July 4th.
You as well. Thank you, buddy. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
All right. See ya.